Hello and welcome to the White Collar Fitness Radio, the ultimate podcast for professionals striving to achieve optimal performance in today's fast-paced age. I'm your host, Bruno Delladoni, online body transformation specialist and founder of the Health Coach Fitness. I'm here to help you optimize your health and fitness, even if you're short on time. What's going on, everybody? Today, we are discussing whether eating healthily is hindering your progress. This is a question that I get asked a lot, and it's also one of those discussions that inevitably, when clients first start, they always go, "Oh, but I eat healthy." And yeah, most people eat healthy, and most people have a rough idea of what they probably should be doing. So, is eating healthily then stopping you from achieving your goals, whether that is losing some body fat, whether that is gaining some muscle? You know, if you know that by and large you eat healthily, then why are you not getting to where you want to go as quickly as you'd like? And the real sort of short answer is eating healthy or healthily, I don't know, is different to eating with a goal in mind. So what do I mean by that? We're going to break down a couple of different goals here, I suppose, so you guys can see what I mean. So the first one is fat loss. Fat loss versus healthy. Now, the principles of fat loss, calories in, calories out. Like, that's it. There is no magic. You can dice your calorie intake a million different ways, but it always and forever comes down to calories. It doesn't matter if you're keto. It doesn't matter if you are doing paleo. It doesn't matter if you follow Weight Watchers or Slimming World. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you intermittent fast. The key to all of that is all of those different structured, let's say, diets put you in some manner of calorie deficit or another, and you lose some body fat. Okay. So if we understand that it always comes down to calories in, calories out, then on paper, you could lose body fat eating McDonald's. Wild, I know. But it is true. I am here to tell you. And although it might not be, one, the healthiest, and two, the easiest way of going about the whole thing, it's absolutely possible to do it that way. Have some McDonald's, have some KFC. And this is why, for my clients especially, I always tell them, like, if there are things that they are adamant that they can't have because or some past belief, or, you know, something that they think it's going to absolutely derail their progress, well, we sit together, we discuss, and we find a way to incorporate that in a way that they can have it with some moderation and still make progress. The biggest thing to stuff like that is making sure that you actually have some, because otherwise all you do is tell yourself you can't. The food becomes some weird taboo. Chocolate tends to be the one, right? People go, "I can't have any chocolate." Well, chocolate becomes a taboo, and now instead of having a little bit of chocolate, a small snack size bar of chocolate, and feeling happy the fact that they've had some chocolate, they binge on a family size bar and then feel guilty about it, and then they deprive themselves of chocolate for the next 2 weeks, and then something will trigger it and they'll have another family size bar. So you can have whatever it is that you want to have in some moderation, as long as it fits within your calorie sort of structure, calorie intake, calorie target, whatever you want to say. So what are some foods, for example, that are healthy, but might not be the best food choices when you're trying to lose some body fat? Well, usually there will be high fat foods that are actually really healthy. So for example, nuts, avocado, nut butters, weirdly some dark chocolate. Good quality dark chocolate is amazing. Really rich in magnesium, rich in fiber. So those things, because they have a higher fat content, they tend to be more calorie dense. And although, yes, they are healthy, if the goal is fat loss, they may not, and I'm not saying they are in fact the cause, but I'm saying they might be adding on some calories that you haven't really thought about, therefore eating away at your deficit. Other things that might not be overly helpful are low residue foods. So things with low fiber. Prime example would be white bread, white rice, stuff like that. Because if your food has a bit more fiber, it naturally just takes a little bit longer for it to digest, to go through your digestive system, which in turn means your body's having to work for it for longer, which means you stay fuller for longer, which naturally is what we're looking for. It means you're not as hungry as often, therefore making the quote-unquote diet more sustainable, slightly longer term. And obviously processed and fast foods, you can have them, but they might not help you along the way. Now, low residue foods, processed foods, you can absolutely still have them, like have a slice of cake. It doesn't actually matter if you can work it into your calories. If you can't, then you won't make progress towards your fat loss. Now, is that slice of cake the healthiest thing you're going to ever eat? Probably not. But if psychologically helps you along, on your journey, so it means you don't binge and it means you can actually have a little bit more enjoyment out of that diet longer term, which then means you can reach your goal in the end, well, then a slice of cake doesn't matter. So hopefully you can see that healthy is in fact different to fat loss. The other one will be sports performance versus healthy. So when we're talking sports performance and healthy, obviously they, like, all these things have a crossover, right? But it's understanding the priority to what you're doing. So sports performance, well, depending on what sport you're talking about, your recovery is in fact a priority. So you want your nutrition to support recovery. You want to have considerations for how much calories you're intaking to make sure that you can perform at your best. That comes down to energy availability, and energy availability comes down to you not being in a calorie deficit, for example. So if you're trying to limit your food too much, or if, say, for example, you're having too many vegetables, which isn't necessarily a thing, but it could be, then it might be that because you're having so much fiber, vegetables take longer to digest, you're not feeling hungry often enough so that you're not consuming enough calories. So again, different priorities, different things to keep in mind. Again, doesn't mean that there is no crossover, and that doesn't mean that if you're focusing on your sports performance, you should chug basically just neat Lucozade and sugary water and let's go. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, if the focus is to be healthy, then having, different sources of protein, different sources of fats, all of those things come into play. Why do they come into play? Well, when you consume different sources of protein, so when you digest your protein, it breaks down into amino acids. There's 20 of those, 9 of which your body can't make. So different types of protein. So for example, beef will have a different amino acid profile to chicken. So when it digests, the things your body can take away from it are different. Tofu will be different to chicken, will be different to beef. Protein powders such as hemp, like all the vegan stuff, so you can get pea protein or hemp protein. fava bean protein, which is absolutely disgusting. All those things have different amino acid profiles, and your body can do different things with the different amino acids. So it's important to consume a variety of different sources so that your body has, in fact, a variety of amino acids. Now, as we've previously discussed, animal protein, whether it be actual meat, so chicken, obviously like chicken breast, beef, whatever, or animal derived products such as dairy, eggs, stuff like that, they are complete proteins. So they have all the 20 amino acids, but in differing ratios. So making sure that, like I say, you consume a variety of sources will mean that your body can do different things with them. Same with fat sources. Obviously, different fat sources have different fatty acid composition. So obviously your saturated fats, your monounsaturated and your polyunsaturated. Well, I know saturated fats get a really bad rep and, oh my God, we're all going to die of heart attacks. But turns out that isn't the full story. And not only is it not the full story, your body needs a balance of all three. So having some butter is not going to kill you. But if the only thing you have is whale blubber, that might be a problem. Right? So like it's just different sources of things provide your body with different nutrients so your body can meet its various needs. That also goes to your carbohydrate intake. Now, we haven't yet discussed on the podcast, but carbohydrates aren't an essential component of your diet. So effectively, you don't need to ingest carbohydrates to live. However, there's obviously benefits to carbohydrates, plus they're tasty. So that's always good enough for me. But again, and I'm just going to sort of almost preface this when I say carbohydrates right now, I am talking about healthy stuff. And when I say healthy, I don't want you to go healthy carbohydrates, brown bread, right? Work with me. I'm talking about vegetables, fruit, nuts, legumes, pulses, some might call them. All those things are very important. Not only are they important, they provide different minerals, vitamins, all of that stuff. It's really, really important for health in general. Also, plant foods, as a rule of thumb, and when I say plant foods, I literally mean all of the above: nuts, legumes, vegetables, fruit, different cereals, like wheat and barley and all of that stuff. All of those things are high in fiber, they're high in prebiotic, they're high in resistant starch. All of that stuff is really good for your gut, which is obviously important to keep you healthy in general. So recently, there's been this discussion of the gut-brain axis. And when I say recently, it's not actually that recent anymore, but we'll go with it. The gut-brain axis plays a huge part in how your body functions, from mood regulation to libido. And obviously having a healthy gut also improves your immune function. Like there's so many things that having a decent amount of fiber intake will play into your body. And you'll get your fiber from a variety of plants. Like I say, nuts, legumes, cereals, vegetables, fruit, all of that stuff. And so if we take a step back and think, what is actually a healthy diet? Like if that is your priority, well, a healthy diet is a diet that consists primarily of plants with good sources of protein, varied sources of protein, varied sources of fat, and it just supplies you with all the stuff. Lots of hydration, lots of water. Making sure that we have all these sort of boxes ticked will mean that your diet as a whole is healthy. Now, you can have a healthy diet and go for fat loss or go for sports performance. In fact, it's preferable. But understanding that eating healthily and having a separate goal that involves your nutrition, such as fat loss or sports performance, they are in fact different things. And so next time you hire a PT, you definitely should hire me. But if you don't, that's fine. But next time you hire a PT, just take a second when they start talking to you about nutrition and go, oh, but I know because I eat pretty healthy. Yeah, most people eat pretty healthy. But is the healthy food you're having actually furthering the nutritional goals you have? Hopefully that's given you guys some food for thought. If you guys have any questions about that, drop me a message, reach out via Instagram at Bruno Dalladone. Otherwise, I will be seeing you guys next time.